Let's start with Shoprite because, of course, this is the largest player in the sub-Saharan African region. It's got the most stores. It's got the biggest footprint. It's a fabulous success story. Whitey Basson, Christo Wiese start this thing with a bunch of stores out in the sort of Gromadulas up there in the Northern Cape, and they build it into a 100 billion rand market cap corporate titan. Shoprite, of course, buys OK Bazaars along the way, incorporates Checkers. They roll out brilliant distribution centers. Fabulous team with regard to technology and with regard to cost optimization. It's got a big Africa footprint. It's built stores across the region with a nice rollout in countries like Nigeria, countries like Angola, countries like, thank you, Sid, Zambia, even in places like Madagascar and the likes. It's battled a little bit recently, so we'll go into that. Price-to-earnings ratio is still relatively high, but not unreasonably high for a retailer, 23.43, dividend yield 2%. So am I right? So this one feels like it was the market leader up until 2 years ago, and then it's gone off the boil a little bit.
Well, in terms of market share, it is the market leader, and it's probably gained more market share. In terms of the share price has done virtually nothing for the last few years.
Well, while we're talking, let's put that on screen so people can see what we mean. So you're right, it does well there till 2013, and then, as you say, it's not done much for investors since then.
But bear in mind that in 2013, it was probably far too high in the first place. So what we're really doing is we're playing catch-up. And a very good friend of mine, a leading fund manager in town, said to me the other day, and it's very introspective what he says. He says, for the first time in like at least 2 years, the forward PE of Shoprite, based on his earnings forecast, is declining below 20. And perhaps the argument could be that when you kind of reach that point, and bear in mind, Shoprite's never put a foot wrong. Earnings have never ever gone down. EPS has never ever gone down. The dividend has always gone up. Maybe this thing is starting to look attractive now because you're not going to, I don't believe on the balance of probabilities that you're going to level peg forever. Africa, at the moment, Nigeria and Angola are suffering from the oil price issues. But they're not going to last forever. I mean, in the last few days, last 2-3 weeks, the oil price has made a pretty good recovery. It doesn't mean instant gratification for Nigeria, nor Angola for that matter, but it does kind of suggest that perhaps we've hit the trough, and in those parts of Africa where Shoprite operates in a very big way, which is the West Africa side rather than East Africa, maybe things are going to improve quite considerably.
And we know that those are early markets for them, and there's an enormous pent-up demand, and they're catering to a sort of more upper echelon type of customer that probably still has access.
You've got 160 million people in Nigeria.
Let's bring it home,
and they're not going to disappear.
Because we know that the bigger part of the footprint is here. What about management succession planning? I mean, Whitey Basson is at the height of his powers. Is he planning to go anywhere as far as you know?
That is your biggest negative at this point in time. It's my view. It's my view that that Whitey will probably seek to retire, probably not this year, but probably in June next year. Some of these executives who've been with him for much the entire period that he's been at Shoprite are already starting to take things a little bit easier, and call it the changing of the guard has already commenced.
So Whitey's taking a little easier, and the other blokes are taking a little bit harder.
No. Whitey's still there in full force, but but one or two of these executives I know are starting to take things a little bit easier.
In the sense what? That if there's a change of guard, that they might also see as opportunity to retire and move on.
I think we're going to see a changing of the guard, not only with Whitey, but with a few people who are going to follow him as well.
But as you say, this is a company that is very strong, has built a deep bench, so one can be assured that there'll be very talented and experienced guys coming through. One final question, what about that sort of loose speculation that at some point, given Christo Wiese's involvement in Shoprite, that some kind of global combination of Steinhoff, which of course now has Pepkor, and Shoprite might be possible, and that one ought to buy the shares now because you can then ride that scenario to a much higher share price level?
There are a lot of theories going around as to what Mr. Wiese's ultimate intentions are with regard to his own family succession when he's not around. Obviously, that argument, that theory, fits into one of the lines of speculation. It could well happen. And a number of years ago, there was talk that something like that was on the cards. Obviously, it didn't happen. But there was talk about it.
So
I don't think that you've got to. I don't think you can disregard that theory completely.
Yes. Okay. Good. Fabulous. Hot or not at the current share price level? Hasn't done much for everybody for a while.
I'm actually hot on it.
Okay. Good. I'm too. I like the story, and I think that the idea that they're growing into their PE makes perfect sense.